So, the Han Dynasty, one of the most important eras in China. It brought much wealth and prosperity to China and its people.
It all started when peasant Loi Bang managed to lead a group of generals together and overthrow the previous dynasty, which was the Qin dynasty. Loi Bang, who was a man of his people, lowered taxes and treated them less harshly. The dynasty started to progress, as well as its territories. The Han dynasty saw its chances and signed treaties in the west, which really sparked its golden age. This is when they established the Silk Road, a trade route from China to Rome. This brought much wealth and prosperity. The Silk Road traded goods such as jade, gold, tea, and other spices. These at the time were pricey and were good on the market. Silk Road wasn't the only thing that happened. During the time, Mahayana Buddhism was also introduced. The Han Dynasty made a lot of astonishing achievements. The Han Dynasty wasn't all good though. 200 BC, the Han Dynasty's army was defeated, and Loi Bang was forced to sign a treaty with the Xiongnu, a nomadic group. The treaty made it so he had to send silk and other goods to them. Shortly after, Loi Bang dies from an illness. Loi Bingyi was shortly after his time, at the time of 74 and 49 BC, one of the few lazy and selfish emperors. Bingyi didn't do much, no achievements during his ruling. After what feels like an endless cycle of Han emperors who did nothing and were selfish and lazy, came the Wu emperor. He established more trades and gained more territories. He was able to stop the Xiongnu for a few more years when he sent troops over to stop them. However, he engaged in an excessive amount of war, which started to cause the end of the Han Dynasty. Eventually, during the rule of Loi Zai, the Han Dynasty started to collapse on itself. Due to the selfish and lazy leaders in the past that led to nothing being done and citizens being angry, militaries were also so focused on conquering land they did not have the military in their territories to stop riots, so riots became so much more dangerous and a lot harder to stop. As taxes rose to pay for bigger militaries and enforce people didn't pay. They hid their money, and even themselves, from guards. This was the downfall of it all. They didn't have enough money, and the government was so weak it couldn't sustain. China wasn't looking so good. It kind of was chaotic until they finally came up with the decision of the Three Kingdoms. The Three Kingdoms were the Wei, the Shu, and the Wu. They also had another problem to settle. The land-hungry warlord didn't want to have three separate kingdoms, so a war broke out. The Battle of the Red Cliff, a battle between Cao Cao from the Wei against Liu Bei from the Shu and Sun Quan from the Wu. As war broke out, Cao Cao decided he would focus on the Yangtze River. This was a very strategic place to aim for. That's why Cao Cao aimed for it. He knew that it would be a huge disadvantage if he was able to capture the river. As he attacked, he realized his men weren't really prepared for any type of naval battles. As Cao Cao men started to die from the intensity of the ships, they had to stop and rest. This was when General Zhao Yu attacked. He got close enough to their ships and set them ablaze. At this point, the South attacked. Cao Cao understood the situation and knew there was no winning. He ordered his men to retreat. As they left, ships filled with his own men collapsed. Most of his warriors died. After the defeat, he pretty much just stopped. He eventually died, and his son tries to do the same as he, but also proceeds to fail at his task. After an extremely long time and a chaotic period, the Han Dynasty ends when Liu Bei gets defeated by Sun Quan.
So, there were many reasons why the Han Dynasty could have fallen. Which one of those do you think impacted the most?